Okay, we are talking about beans today, and we've got a variety of dried beans here. I think a lot of times it's so easy, Pam, to go to the store and just get the canned beans because they're so convenient, they're so quick.
Yes.
But the dried beans are so much easier on the pocketbook.
Yes.
And I also think about, we just came out of COVID, and we kind of learned that sometimes those grocery store shelves can go empty.
Yes.
And these will last in your pantry for so long, and and this little bag of beans will make so much when you cook it up.
So many servings, you bet.
Can you talk to us a little bit about, I guess the health benefits of beans and why we might want to go with the dried beans as opposed to a can?
Right. So I think the first thing that steps out or jumps out about a canned bean is typically the sodium content. I think that's where most people have their objection about it if they are concerned at all. Convenience, though, is really, really hard to beat in a canned bean. It's super lovely. So if you have any issues about the sodium, you can always rinse your beans, and that kind of helps that aspect of it. I think as far as dried beans, love all the comments that you made. Yes, these are going to be shelf stable for a very long time. They're going to retain their nutrition. We're not worried about losing it over time. I think from a gardening standpoint, when you realize that these are the seeds that you would grow plants from, that just indicates that there's a ton of nutrition in it, because you can't have a plant without all of this innate, potential of this growth in it. So I feel like sometimes the dry beans, like you mentioned, sometimes we just don't even look at the back of it, which has just all this great nutrition information, but it's also going to give you the preparation. And if it looks a little daunting because I'm not a cook, actually we just put a lot of water around it, right? We soak them overnight, drain them the next day, and then we're going to be able to proceed and put the water back, and then we can boil them up, and we'll get them nice and soft, and they're going to be ready to put into the recipe that we have.
Right. So I think that you make a really good point here. If you turn these over, well, maybe not that one, but some of these others, they have the preparation instructions on the back, and I'm not sure. This one, I bet that one doesn't. But a lot of times they do, and I don't think people realize it takes a little time, but it's hands-off time, right?
Yes.
They're really, really easy to prepare. So
tell me about your experience, right?
Don't you I have an instant. So on the back of here, it talks about putting them in water, leaving it overnight, then you take it the next day, dump all the steps. Yeah. It's not complicated, but it takes time. Yeah. I have an Instant Pot.
Nice.
Okay, so I know I can put those beans with that water in my Instant Pot, and it takes a little time to heat up, and it takes a little time to depressurize on the end, but that cook time is 30 minutes.
Yeah. Nice.
I mean, that's a lot different than overnight, then the hour cooking, and all the things. Does that make a big difference? Is it okay to do the Instant Pot as opposed to soaking it all night long?
Right. I think when the biggest challenge for most people when they're cooking is the time. Right? It's the convenience of it. If there is too much time involved or too much actual interaction with it, I've got to cut everything, I've got to prep all this and do that. When we have appliances that help us to address that, especially the time component, and we can still maintain the nutrition that we want from it, that's a great idea. So pressure helps us to retain a lot of nutrition that would be lost in water, right? The water soluble, all the B vitamins, C, things like that. So if we can have an environment that we're cooking in and we retain that, that's a plus.
Okay.
And we made it in 30 minutes versus all the time that we talked about for that process. Oh, ding, ding, ding.
Okay.
And then the third piece is, why do we want to do it for our health? Right. Beans are associated with the soluble kind of fiber that we associate with heart health. It helps with our cholesterol management. It also helps with blood sugar management, and it can also help with satiety when we're trying to do some weight loss management. So beans give us the ability for our body to benefit in those capacities, as well as being, oh my gosh, it tastes great. Now, people might go, I'm not too sure about that, but every culture on the planet has a bean-based dish. And do they all taste the same? No, because you go back to the culture and the spices that each individual culture has used to flagship any of their dishes. So I think that's what's exciting. Beans may seem a little boring, but the fabulous part is, I don't know how many people have ever seen Anasazi beans, but look how gorgeous that is. And we always talk about the colors, and those are the things that continue even in the bean realm. Black beans are going to be, typically maybe Hispanic based, but all the cultures that use beans know that benefit. And I think for people that maybe are not as accustomed to beans in their GI tract, because that's the other thing.
Right, it can cause gas.
Yeah,
Pam.
distress, right? So lentils can have this lovely capacity to give us a nice transitional opportunity.
Okay.
They're very easy to digest. They cook super fast. We don't even need necessarily an Instapot for that.
Right, they don't need to soak, I don't think. Isn't that right?
Right, and I think we need maybe 5-10 minutes.
Okay.
So the good part, and sometimes when we get the instant variety of things like rice, we lose a lot of nutrition.
Sure.
This is going to cook quickly, and we won't lose that nutrition. So I think, man, that's a double win in my book. And then again, just the different colors and the different texture, the different sizes of them are going to allow you to have different application for it. So I hope people get their beans and start to enjoy them and not worry about maybe the gas part of it. I think what's really nice too is when you get these soup mixes that have a variety of the beans, because you could probably spend some time maybe doing an internet search as to which beans are better. Let's just go for beans are great.
Okay.
And then if you have a particular nutrition deficiency that you're trying to address, then maybe you could find out from each one of these which one's going to meet that better.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Comment below and let us know about your favorite bean recipe and if you have a great use for these lentils for our bean beginners.